Good evening, and welcome to the school committee meeting of September 4th, 2025. This meeting will be conducted in a hybrid format. School committee members Lauren Loomis, Kelly Percio, and Jim Hamilton are in person tonight, and Jackie Weisman and Colleen Proudler are remote. This meeting is open to the public and will be broadcast by ECAT. If any members of the public here in person wish to make a comment during the public comment period, you will be invited to do so, and we ask you to state your name and address for the record or affiliation with Easton Public Schools. The first item on the agenda is our student representative to the school committee update. And our student representatives will begin their update at their next meeting. Since they just started school this week, they are busy with their own schedule, so they're not going to present anything this week. But they're very excited for the school year to start and are looking forward to presenting at our next meeting.
And that will be Veronica Shenoy.
And that will be Veronica Shenoy, yes. Our next item is the vote to approve transportation contracts. Dr. Cabral.
Thank you. Our Director of Operations is here this evening, Tony Kopaz, to provide you with information about 3 transportation contracts.
Good evening, everybody.
You can just hold it if that's easier.
Okay. So we have 3 transportation contracts for, make sure I say this right, McKinney-Vento. Correct? We have, so we're all in line. I have Purple Lady, ADA Transportation, and Alpha Ride Pupil Transportation. Okay? So I'm going to talk about Purple Lady and ADA Transportation first, because they are both for the same dollar amount of $88,000 for the year. So I figured if it's okay, since they're both the same price, okay? So the $88,000, I worked with Assistant Superintendent Chrissy Pruitt on getting these numbers and looking at what we felt the need would be. And with that, we looked at what has been going on, some trending, and we feel that the $88,000 will get us through. And what I mean by get us through, I want to clarify, it's not a definite that that's what it is for the year. We have 1 or 2 students right now, I believe, that we'll have to be transporting. So in looking at this and also trying to be conservative, because we don't want to put all of the tough financial year, put all of our money in one basket, that's the other reason why they're at $88,000 instead of more. So we may have to come back if we get more kids that we're going to have to transport if we go over one of those 2 contracts. Okay. Now, Alpha Transportation is a new vendor, and we felt that working with them and looking at our data, that a contract with them for $60,000 would be suffice, so we could, for lack of a better transparency, try them out. They come recommended on their website. They're out in Boston. They do a lot of stuff, but we also want to be conservative with them.
And this is for McKinney-Vento.
This is from
Yes.
McKinney-Vento, yes.
Yeah, so students that that qualify for support services under the McKinney-Vento Act, we do transport.
Right.
We also cost share with the district that either they're coming from, or if we have students that are homeless in Easton that, say for example, go to another school district, we cost share with them. Purple Lady and ADA are the 2 most commonly used transportation companies. Having the Alpha Ride is also helpful because like Director Kopaz said, this is a company that's out of Boston, and we do find that we transport students back and forth to Boston as well. So while we have one or two students that we're transporting here right now, we do have other students that we are cost sharing with the other district to transport. And if at any point we were to get close to exceeding one of these contracts, we will come before you and let you know and ask for your approval for an increase in the contract.
So is the cost sharing like 50/50?
It is,
Okay.
yes. Yep,
I didn't know that.
yep.
Okay.
So, and this is also my first time starting to learn about McKinney-Vento, so I'm all, I don't want to use this word, but gun shy. Right? On who we're partnering with.
So just to clarify for anyone who might not be as familiar with it, so McKinney-Vento is is a legal obligation we have
Yes.
to make sure that we transport these students.
Yes.
And the contracts that we have are up to and not to exceed that dollar amount. It is not guaranteed that we will spend that much with
Correct.
each of these vendors.
That
as
is
well.
correct.
Okay.
Obviously, we never know when a student faces displacement. It could happen at any time, and if it does, then what we have estimated could change. We have no way of knowing
And-
that.
So I guess that's what I wanted to make sure I was clear on,
Mm-hmm.
just so everyone understood. Like, if you come to us and ask to increase one of these, it could be that we have had students who faced hardship and need that support for the transportation support, and therefore we must meet those obligations. We would just try to find the right balance of vendors.
Right, the
So-
students
Yes.
that we currently have are covered for the school year.
Great, okay.
We don't, and we have a little bit, because we know there's movement every single year. If there's a larger number or a greater distance, or we have trouble securing a particular vendor and we go with a vendor that charges more, it could totally change. It's very much like special education in the sense that you can never predict. You have to meet the need of the student in real time, and it is a legal requirement.
Okay, Jackie?
Thank you. Just have a couple of questions. I just wanted to clarify, because it sounded like you said we have a couple of students who we're bringing into the district through these transportation companies. Do we have students that we're cost sharing that are going somewhere else as well?
Yes,
Okay.
we don't, but I don't, because it's such a small number at the beginning of this year, talking about numbers of students or where they're going, we want to not do that, so we
Right.
should not do that anymore.
No, that's fine.
Because we don't want to be identifiable. But what happens is I'm going to make up a town. I'm not going to make up a town. I'm going to make up a scenario. If we have a student who is our student, they live in Easton, and for whatever reason, they become displaced, and they're homeless, and they are either in a group home, or maybe they double up with a relative who's allowing them to live there temporarily, that's homeless, and they live in Attleboro, the law states that that student has a choice. They can continue their education in Easton, or they can enroll in Attleboro. If they decide to go to Attleboro, we cost share for them to be transported. If they decide to stay in Easton, Attleboro pays for half, and we pay for half to transport them back and forth from Attleboro and Easton.
So now we have 3 vendors for a very small amount of students, it sounds like. I know the contracts have a kind of a guesstimate of what we'll spend, but so if we're not obligated to spend those amounts in the contract, correct?
Correct.
Correct, but it is extremely expensive for even one student to be transported back and forth in the scenario I just said. It's probably a lot more expensive than people imagine. So this is not an outrageous number for a small number.
And it's in their vans that they're being transported in?
Not necessarily. It's either a van or a car. And the other thing too that qualifies under this is students that are in DCF custody. So if they are, in foster care, that is another reason why, and that is not a cost share. That is solely on the receiving district.
Okay.
So if a student goes into foster care through the Department of Children and Families, and they are attending school in Easton, we pay the full amount for that transportation. We do not cost share with the districts that they are residing in.
So, and I feel like we've seen the Purple Lady contract before. Are there changes in this contract? Is that why it's coming back to us?
No, it's
No.
a new, it's a new
It's
year.
just the contract for this year.
Yeah,
Jackie, we saw
Okay.
it at the end of last school year.
Yeah.
Because we had to extend or add. in
had to
that
increase,
period.
yes.
I recall that too. It was like
Okay.
months ago, but a
Yeah.
different, a whole different school year.
yes.
All right, thank you.
Welcome. So if a student is in Easton and becomes displaced and stays in Easton, then we pay 100%. But if they go to another town, we cost share.
And they go on the Easton Public Schools bus, on the typical
Oh,
busing transportation, if they're in Easton, staying in Easton.
So is there ever a situation with McKinney-Vento for homeless, for not DCF, that we would pay in full?
No,
No, it's always a cost share?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a
you.
cost share when there are two different towns involved. Like the
Right.
student became homeless when they were an Easton student and are now in Attleboro, or if they became homeless when they were an Attleboro student and now they live in Easton, the two districts share
right.
the expense.
But it doesn't seem like there wouldn't be a situation where it wouldn't be a cost share. Because if they were in Easton and they stayed in Easton, they would take Easton bus.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep,
Yep.
yeah, just DCF, yes,
Right.
just the Department of Children.
Okay,
Foster care.
okay, great. Okay. Does anyone have any questions on any additional questions on the three contracts? Colleen, do you have any questions?
Just with the three contracts, so we feel reasonably assured that between the three vendors, they have enough 7D vans and drivers to accommodate any influx of kiddos if we were to have more kids. They have enough drivers at the ready that if we needed to add a run or a route, they have the ability to do that for us.
At
Yes.
this point in time, I would say yes.
For these amounts.
Yes.
Right.
And that's why it's good to have multiple contracts, not just one. Some vendors might cost less from one district to another. So that's why we kind of shop around, for lack of a better phrase, and to make sure that we're utilizing the funds to the best of our ability.
Thank you.
Okay.
Internally, are we tracking, say these get up to 80% used, that's when you would come back and ask us or bring another to us for more money?
Sure, if at 80% is what you,
Oh, I didn't know if there was like
There
a
was,
process
no,
in
it's-
place, rather than it be like an emergency
No, if we
situation.
have, so say we had, 3 children that were added to the list, we extrapolate that out for the year at whatever point in the year that is, whether it's October or January or even May. And if it's going to go over this, we would tell you right away.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a percentage. This is, we're good right now for the students we have. So the only reason this
Theory
is
for
going to
you.
change
Yes.
Okay.
is if we
Yeah.
have an influx. Yeah.
And just as an example, that's what happened last year.
Exactly.
Well, we had to come back.
Okay. So, we all good with our questions? Yes, 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 okay. So we'll start with the ADA contract, so ADA transportation. So I'll make a motion to approve the contract with ADA transportation. Do I have a second?
Percio second.
All in favor, so we.
You need to do roll call
Roll
vote.
call. Okay. How do we do this? So,
Just call out names and
Jackie,
Wiseman, yes.
Colleen,
Proudly, yes.
Jim,
Hamilton, yes.
Percio, yes.
Loomis, yes. Okay.
Let's just keep that order.
I've already forgotten it.
Okay. It's
You're
good.
first. It's
I'll
easy.
remember. Okay. Alpha Ride Pupil Transportation. I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Alpha Ride Pupil Transportation.
Percio second.
All in, okay. Oh, Jackie,
Wiseman, yes.
Colleen,
Proudly, yes.
Jim,
Hamilton, yes.
Percio, yes.
Loomis, yes. Okay. Purple Lady. So I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Purple Lady Transportation.
Percio second.
Jackie,
Wiseman, yes.
Colleen,
Proudly, yes.
Hamilton, yes.
Percio, yes.
Loomis, yes. Okay, so they are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is food service RFP update. Dr. Cabral.
Thank you. So we are currently in the process of the RFP for food service that is expected to go out, I believe, for December 1st. And so right now we have a monthly agreement with our current vendor, Whitson's, for definitely September, October, possibly November. And then we will just follow the regular bid process, vet the bids. Joe Spagna, our new finance director, has worked really diligently on this, even though his start date hasn't started, so we really are thankful to him for that. This has been submitted. There is a timeline per DESI regulations that we need to follow. It has to go out to bid for a certain number of weeks, et cetera. So that's why we expect it could be around December. The other reason for December is if it is a different vendor, we have no idea. We need to have the opportunity, most likely over the Thanksgiving break, for them to switch out the kitchens in every school and everything. And so that is the biggest span of time that we have for that. So it's just an update. There's no vote or anything on that tonight.
Okay.
Did we put a school committee member on it? I thought I was supposed to be
On
the
the,
RFP for the food service.
Yeah, we did.
to vet the bids.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that time frame is the responses are expected back in October?
November we're hoping for a December 1st start, the latest.
Okay,
And it could be the same vendor, right?
Right.
We don't know, so.
okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Are you able to give an update on free lunch?
Sure. So we, for those of us that follow the budget every year, you would have seen the line item for universal program for food for children for breakfast and for lunch. Something that a lot of people misunderstand is that legislation says pending appropriation, which means if the state has enough money to fund that, it is universally free. Otherwise, the district has to pay the difference. And for this year, it is going to be free to all students. However, the budget that was passed by the state did not have the amount of money that it had in last year. So we are expecting a bit of a dip. We will be monitoring that. That is why we asked for updated lunch prices, so that if we need to change that for the next school year, we'll already have that in place. But we anticipate it's free lunch and breakfast this year for all students. But I found a lot of people think that means that it's just free forever for everyone, and that's not necessarily true. That's not an Easton function. That's just the actual legislation. It allows the state to either fully fund it or not, depending if the state has the funds for that. So that is a year-to-year basis. We find out typically after town meeting every year what the actual budget is, so we really don't find out until late, which is why we've been trying to preserve an amount that may get us through a school year. It's not a huge amount, and it really can't be used for anything else, or it can't be used for anything else except food service, so that if we run into that situation, but it would only help us for 1 year. It's a finite fund.
Okay, so if the state does not provide enough money for free school lunch for the district, then that cost will be passed on to families to pay for.
We don't expect that this year, but
Right.
in the future,
But in the future.
if the funding is cut in half or it's cut completely, yes, we would have to charge for school lunches again. Now, those who fall under the federal formula for free or reduced lunch would still fall under the federal formula for free and reduced lunch. It just wouldn't be the universal program that it is now.
Okay. Because like you said, I think that there's a lot of confusion, and that it's, free forever. And it's a law, so even if there is not funding, I think a lot of people believe that the district will still cover it and it will get paid somehow. Because
We
it's a
don't,
law.
we definitely don't have funding for that, nor does, I don't think any district
Right.
does. So again, it's not a unique to Easton thing.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Jackie has a question.
Oh, sorry, Jackie. Thank you, Karen.
That's okay. Does this include breakfast as well, or is it only lunch?
No, breakfast and lunch.
Thank you.
Colleen, we can't see you, so if you have your hand raised.
Yeah,
we may-
I'm tracking here too.
Okay, thank you so
So
much,
if she
'cause I
raises
was
her hand, I
like-
can see.
Or Colleen will be lost.
Okay. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is a discussion and possible vote on the OA handbook and OA student athletics handbook.
Right. Thank you. So Principal Kavanaugh is here, and Athletic Director McDonald is here remotely to provide an update on these two handbooks. This is continuing the discussion from the August 14th meeting. You had recommended or asked for certain changes. Principal Kavanaugh is going to share that with you, so if you wanted to move to the audience for her slide presentation. And there's also a legal addition that needs to be added to all of the handbooks. That's also on there, so if you have any questions about any of it, they or we can answer that for you.
Thanks, everyone. So as we discussed at our last meeting, we shared with you our recommended changes to the OA student handbook and then the athletic student handbook, which is an addendum to our OA handbook. Great feedback from you, and so we've incorporated that feedback into the policies. I'll go through the first few for the handbook, and then Director McDonald will jump on virtually and share with you the changes that she made to the athletic handbook. So this is the first slide. There was no changes to this, but I just wanted to make sure, because we're voting today, that we present again the change from college visits to college and career exploration days to be more inclusive of different ways students are exploring post-secondary planning and getting excused absences for them. The next slide is the change to the course selection process. You recommended that under course override, we add some additional information that defines when the course recommendation process starts and what a course override is. So we added those two additional sentences. Do you have any questions on this? Did this meet your expectations?
I think it's clarified it, so thank you.
Thanks very much, Jackie. And then finally, on my end of things, this is what Dr. Cabral just, you know what, you might have to, because I added it, maybe you need to refresh it. Yeah, refresh it. This additional language is being added to all handbooks, so you will see each of the principals presenting this to you through advice from legal counsel in the state of Massachusetts, and it basically gives information around accommodations that families may request to curriculum content. I'll give you a second to read it because I know you're just looking at it for the first time.
The legal language, not in the context of the handbook, was shared with you prior. This is the same language, nothing has been changed.
Do you have any questions on that? No?
I have a question, if it's okay. It's not necessarily on this language, but we're in the policy subcommittee. We're going through. There's been quite a few changes from our legal counsel on some of the bullying, harassment, sexual discrimination, that kind of thing. And I know we're going to be looking at the handbooks to make sure they're all consistent with what's going to be in our policy as well. So when we do that, would you just, if there were changes that had to be made in this handbook, would you bring that back to us to go over the changes?
Yes, with changes in.
There's going to be maybe some of the language about, I'm trying to think, I think it's about discrimination and bullying that has been updated by legal counsel.
It depends if there's a reference to school committee policy by the letter combination, that will not be changed if the language changes in the policy. But if the actual policy is listed in the handbook, then it will have to be changed, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
because our legal counsel was pretty adamant that the language in both documents should be the same.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
So however we can help with that, I know that each of the principals in their handbook ensure that the school committee policy, that's language that's in the appendix, is updated as you update things in your policy committee. So, and Director Perez does a great job of letting us know so that we can make those updates.
Colleen's hands up. Colleen? Yeah.
Oh, hi. Am I correct in my understanding the legal language that was just put into the handbook? Every school district within the Commonwealth of Massachusetts adopted that very same language?
That is correct. Or they were advised to adopt the language. Whether they ultimately do or not is obviously at the discretion of the district.
Of course. Thank you.
Sure.
Great, all right, I'm gonna ask if we can add
Yeah,
Mary if she's on.
she's here.
All right, hi Mary, are you here?
Well, she was. Yep, she's here.
Okay, Mary, I'm gonna turn it over to you, Mrs. McDonald.
She's there. There she
Hi,
is.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I was helping a kid in the locker room. Yeah, so this I just added from your feedback last time. Just changed the language a little bit on it. Are we on? Sorry, I can't see which one are we on. Are we on the seniors?
We're on, yep, there are no guarantees, and student athletes who previously played on a team are not automatically rostered for the following
There it is.
year, with the exception of seniors who participated in the program for 3 years.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would allow, like, you guys are worried about, if a kid had been in the program all 3 years, obviously we wouldn't put them in a position where they could get cut their senior year. But it also, with this, will allow us leniency for kids that, it's their first year playing a sport, or maybe just their second year, maybe first year when they tried out their junior year, they're on the JV team. Now their skills may not be up to par in their second year as a senior.
Any questions?
Is this inclusive for students who need to transfer into the district? Is there any concerns, I guess, that you all have on transfer students? Because the way the language is written, I would just think if someone had to transfer, their junior year, had played in their other prior district, in theory, they would make the team, but it's always a concern because they're new.
Well, they would make the team based on their skill set in the tryouts, right? So if
Correct.
they were, on par, or had the same skill set as the rest of the varsity team, they would make the team. This wouldn't prohibit them from that.
All the way right.
Okay, should we go to the next one?
This one didn't have any changes. Did it? Oh, wait, it did.
It was just the wording from, I think it was advised to recommend was the
Yeah.
school committee's recommendation.
So the changes on
The next slide.
Yep.
So, yes, rather than advise, it was requested that we change the word advise to recommend. Players may make recommendations. Yeah. Questions on that one? Okay.
And that's it.
Okay.
Are there hands?
Nope.
Okay.
I think on both of those items, I would ask that we are open to revision for the next year if we learn that the way we've done this is not necessarily being as supportive or inclusive of our students as we might wish to. I feel unequipped to think through all of the scenarios, but I do worry about some kiddos who may be left out in scenarios. And I guess I have a little bit of a concern that for a student in the spring who's a senior who started playing, say, their sophomore year, they thought they were guaranteed a spot and weren't. So do we know if there are scenarios where we have kids that are seniors now and potentially about to be excluded from a team in winter or spring seasons? Because we're changing this language now and kids are starting their senior year and went into it with the expectation that they would be included. And so I I think the spirit of what we talked about last time is someone can't walk on your senior year. Totally understand the risks that are associated with that. I just am wondering if there's a gray area where we have a kiddo who, started as a sophomore, who's been diligently playing, and now they're at risk when they went into their senior year, thinking for sure they're on the X
Right.
team.
I would say that I have full confidence in Director McDonald and the coaches to be really mindful of that this year, 100%. What I would suggest is that we take data on this and just track it for you, and then when we present handbook changes to you for next year, I can share with you like the number of seniors who didn't make the team and what the circumstances might have been in a way that keeps confidentiality, because I would never want to expose a kid, but I can give you some like very general information, or Director McDonald can.
Yeah, and I can just add too, like, I don't foresee this happening often. Like, I don't want that to be what we're trying to perceive. It's just, I think the ones that have happened more often are like their first year playing a sport or things like that.
Yeah.
And again, I work with the coaches too that, if they need to cut someone, to cut them their junior year if possible, so that way they're not put in that situation, as a senior.
Yes.
And usually if they are going to do that, I make them talk to me prior and go through the situation, what happened, what are the circumstances that, why are we at this point, kind of thing. If that makes sense. So I don't foresee this happening
Very often. No.
or if not ever.
Yeah.
It's just more just to have the language in there in case we have, obscure situation that we're not locked in that kid automatically makes a team because they're a senior. Because as it's written now, if you were your first year playing a sport and you're a senior, in theory, you're automatically guaranteed a spot in the varsity team, which I just don't think's fair. Nor appropriate if they don't have the skill level to play, at the varsity level. But we can definitely keep track and let you guys know, like, if it ended up happening this year, and what the circumstances were surrounding that. But like I said, I don't foresee it happening, much at all.
That's it. That's all our presentation. Yeah, absolutely. So now we're just looking for a vote for these changes.
Okay, so we can go back to the table, we can vote. Thank you, Mrs. Kavanaugh.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so no one has any additional questions, so we're ready to vote. Colleen, Jackie, no questions? No? Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve the OA handbook and OA student athletics handbook. Anyone want to make a second?
Wiseman, second.
Okay. Jackie,
Wiseman, yes.
Colleen,
Other, yes.
Hamilton, yes.
Mercier, yes.
Loomis, yes. Thank you. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the security project construction update. Dr. Cabral?
Thank you. So we have been working with our owner's project manager and the designer for the last year. We do have an award to a general contractor, J.J. Cardozi, and we are on schedule. We did, as I reported when we got the contract and the bid estimates, it is over $2 million under budget at this point. Again, this project is not coming from our operating budget at all. We were able to secure some grants. We were able to secure some legislative earmarks, and then the town is town borrowing for the rest of the funding for the remainder of the project. Within the next 2 weeks, we will be getting a more specific schedule. I can share the schedule with the school committee, but I could only do that in executive session because it will be when certain vulnerabilities may be discussed and when things are going to be replaced, and that should not be out for public consumption. And we're going to have the construction crew, the actual trailers on site and so forth, probably starting in October. So people will see some of that movement. We're very used to having construction on campus, and so we're well aware of how to redirect people and put up signage and make sure they know where they can park and not park and things of that nature. But things are progressing well at this point. I'm happy to say that our subcommittee, Lauren, of course, is on that, but we also provide information to Municipal Building Committee and the police and fire departments, as well as SEMREC and DPW have all been involved in this process so far, and we're very thankful for that collaboration. We feel very well informed by them. That's what I have.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Does anyone have any questions?
I would love to get the confidential update in executive session.
Yep.
Just Jackie can add that to your agenda.
Thank you.
The next item is the Oliver Ames High School Auditorium carpet replacement update. Dr. Cabral?
Yes. So that is I'm sorry? Oh. The lower and upper bowl of the auditorium is, well, especially the lower bowl of the auditorium, the Charlene Dalrymple Auditorium, is very close to me taking it offline. What we can't have are trip hazards, and as you know, it is used very often. We want to avoid taking it offline for use, and so we have an estimate of October when the carpet is going to be replaced. That's all been done in coordination between Director Kopaz and Principal Kavanaugh, so accommodations have already been made. That is being paid for fully from the naming campaign funding, which is for that purpose. It is almost exactly the amount that was used for the naming of the Dalrymple Auditorium, and so it's going to go directly to the carpeting of the space. Make sure that it's safe for everybody.
Thank you.
Sure.
So we have a bunch of minutes to vote on. So we have the regular minutes of July 22nd. Does anyone have any questions? I never seem to find it. I have to find it. July 22nd. Okay. We also have a couple workshop minutes, but let's vote on this one. So I'll make a motion to approve the regular session minutes of July 22nd, 2025.
Wiseman second.
Jackie?
Wiseman, yes.
Colleen?
Crowther, yes.
Hamilton, yes.
Garcia, yes.
Loomis, yes. Okay.
Sorry, minor question, and
Sure.
wasn't this a workshop, not a regular session?
7:22.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that matters.
I thought
No, it was,
I thought you had made the determination to not determine some or workshop.
That might be the answer.
I'm not sure.
Well, I think there was, I'm trying to pull up the minutes now. I think there was more than, workshops usually if you're just focusing on one
Got it.
right. This-
agenda item, and I think we talked about a couple of different things.
Yeah.
It may have shifted. I know I wasn't in attendance, so, but I thought it was initially going to be a workshop. But I think we
No.
ended up with several items on the agenda.
Yeah, and
so-
it just ended up being like an ad hoc meeting.
Got it.
we added.
Because of this item.
Yes, because we had several pressing items, I believe. Okay, just clarifying.
So we have the workshop minutes of,
I'm sorry, did you just vote on that one?
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
We voted and I was still processing, so I apologize.
No, that's
The
okay.
workshop part was the part that threw me off.
Yep.
Yeah.
No problem.
On June 10th and June 25th.
So these were just, I'm sorry for interrupting, Lauren. These were just really the openings of the executive session meetings.
Okay. Does anyone want these minutes held?
Well, the workshop minutes are public.
Mm-hmm.
It's the actual executive session minutes
That
that,
have the same dates.
yeah, they have the same dates because what we have to do is we
Oh, I'm
open an
looking at the
open
wrong-
session.
Sorry.
And then we go into executive session. So the two workshops are really just opening up
You're right.
the meeting.
Sorry.
So we
Okay.
can probably vote on the workshop ones and then
Yeah.
we can review the executive session ones separately.
Okay, so the workshop minutes of June 10th. I'll make a motion to approve the workshop, the workshop minutes of June 10th, 2025. Do I have a second?
Wiseman, second.
Okay, Jackie,
Wiseman, yes.
Colleen,
Proudly, yes.
Hamilton, yes.
Pursue, yes.
Loomis, yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the workshop minutes of June 25th, 2025. Do I have a second?
Wiseman, second. Wiseman, yes.
Proudly, yes.
Hamilton, yes.
Pursue, yes.
Loomis, yes. Awesome. Okay. So now we have the executive session of June 10th and June 25th. Now, does anyone want these minutes held?
May I ask what a reason would be to hold in general?
If there's information that is open negotiations that are still going on, you don't want that to be in the public.
Do you mean why they won't be released or why we hold them?
I guess either one. I'm just trying to think,
Yeah,
based on the information in these notes, like, should we hold them?
So that to hold them would be if, for example, you saw something that needed to be corrected and we can't discuss those corrections in open session, so we would discuss those corrections in executive session. But that's different than motioning to accept but not release them, which, as Lauren said, it could be that there are ongoing issues that we're discussing that we're not able to release yet. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Bless you. Okay.
No, I don't, no, then no, I don't want to hold them.
You don't want to hold them? Okay. Kelly, Colleen, Jackie, no, don't hold them? No? Okay. For both of them? Either one we're not holding, okay? So I'll make a motion to approve but not release the executive session minutes of June 10th, 2025. Second?
Approve it.
Wiseman, second. And Jim, just to give you another comment. So we regularly review minutes that have been held or not released, I should say, for content. And then, because sometimes the content is then not confidential anymore, so we can release those minutes. So we review those on a rolling basis.
Understood, thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Okay. Did I have a second?
Wiseman, second. Wiseman, yes.
Proudly, yes.
Hamilton, yes.
Pursue, yes.
Loomis, yes. Okay, and so I'll make a motion to approve but not release the executive session minutes of June 25th, 2025. Second?
Wiseman, second. Wiseman, yes.
Proudly, yes.
Hamilton, yes.
Pursue, yes.
Loomis, yes. Okay. So our next item is discussion of the MASC annual conference and vote to appoint a representative to the MASC delegate assembly and an alternate voting delegate. Jackie.
Thank you. So every year, Mass Association of School Committees has an annual conference. This year, it's November 12th to 14th in Hyannis. And if any members want to attend, just let Lynn know and she'll take care of signing you up. As part of the conference, on Friday afternoon, there is a delegate assembly where we vote on, some of the issues that we brought up at the last meeting. You don't have to go to the rest of the conference to go to the delegate assembly. But so what we usually do is we vote, as Lauren said, we vote on a delegate and an alternate voting delegate to attend. I think in past years, the chair has gone and done this, but it's certainly not necessary. If somebody else would like to do it, that's fine too. But we should vote on both, somebody to be the delegate and an alternate, just in case the delegate can't make it for some reason.
Do we know who wants to attend?
I was gonna say, do we have to nominate someone, or like how for chair and vice chair?
It can be it can be anyone. Like I said, I'm happy to do it if nobody else wants to, but if somebody wants to be the delegate, that's fine too. So if somebody wants to, just shout out, or to be the alternate as well, just shout out.
It is the entire conference is a great meeting, and I went last year, and I think I went the year before too. It has a lot of great information. If you are able to go, I highly recommend it. I'm happy to go, but I would like one of my other members to have the experience as well.
Lauren, do you want to be the delegate and then have somebody else voted as the alternate?
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
So
I
I'll make a
nominate
motion.
Lauren. I make a motion for Lauren to be our delegate.
Wiseman second. Wiseman, yes, sorry.
Crowther, yes.
Hamilton, yes.
Percio, yes.
Loomis, yes.
Can you imagine if you said no? I cannot attend for work purposes. That is not a week that I can unfortunately take time off. So I do not wish to be. I would love to go. I think it would be incredible, but unfortunately, so I do not wish to be a delegate. So that leaves the rest of you all in the mix.
I'm happy to be an alternate
Yeah, the
if no one
alternate.
else wants to do it.
I second. I nominate Jim
As your
Wiseman
alternate.
second.
as an alternate.
Roll call.
Wiseman, yes.
Crowther, yes.
Hamilton, yes.
Percio, yes.
Loomis, yes. Okay. And if you're able to go to the whole conference, it's great.
Yeah, I'll check in.
Yeah. Okay, the next item is discussion and possible vote to approve Movement Mortgage to use the district's logo. Dr. Cabral.
Thank you. You have a request in front of you. There is a company, local company, Movement Mortgage, and I'm sorry if I'm saying this incorrectly, Lindsay Vashon, would like to send out a promotional, I think it's like a magnet or a calendar for people's refrigerators with the school calendar on it, and make use of the school logo as well. You have a picture of it in your either electronic or printed packet. And this is, she gave you a mock-up of what it would look like, but the legal compliance department accurately counseled her that she would need school committee permission to use the school logo and use this as a promotional item for her company. So it's at your discretion whether you want to allow this, and it's for your consideration and vote.
Have we ever done anything like this before?
No.
But the only thing
Not
I
that I
would say is that I don't necessarily have an issue with it, but if we let her do this, then anyone else that comes to us, we would be hard pressed to say no. I mean, we can, but I think it would be hard for something like just innocuous like this to say no once we approve her ability to use it. Just something to keep in mind.
And this is just to say it is $0 exchanged for the use of the logo,
Correct.
right?
I think it's great.
I fear it looks like an endorsement, and I don't know anything about Movement Mortgage. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. To your point, Jackie, like I know nothing, so I'm going based on assumption of thing. I love that she was willing to do that because I think parents would love to have the magnet with the calendar, but I do worry that it looks like an endorsement and that it opens a can of opportunity for others. And because our logo is right next to their logo, it looks like an endorsement.
Technically, they could create the calendar
Without the logo.
Without the logo, right? They'd still have access to days off It just
Yes.
is the logo itself.
I don't think it's any different than a banner sponsorship that's
Except-
hanging in the stadium. We approve,
Do we receive money for those, I guess?
Yeah.
Not to interrupt you. But
okay, but put that aside, like, I don't think Movement Mortgage, I'm sure, is a lovely company.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with this. I think it's very generous and appreciate it.
What do you think?
I am more concerned about, to Jackie's point, the precedent of other companies coming to us using the logo. I guess I'll say if it was more like a
Listen.
banner type sponsorship payment and we pre-approved them, I'd be more, I'm not necessarily against it, but I'd be more okay with it if it followed that type of process, I think.
Are the magnets being circulated widely anywhere? Are they being just simply distributed almost as an in-kind donation to Easton students and Easton families? Like, what is the distribution thought process?
We don't have any information on that. And I'm saying magnet only because I've seen similar things to it. It may not actually be a magnet. It's just a calendar that they're sharing. The information that we received is what's on your packet.
I feel like I would need more information then. I think the concept is lovely, and I appreciate that they are willing to do that, but especially because of the use of the logo. And it isn't a donation, like we actually aren't receiving a donation. If it was an in-kind donation where something was being donated to the students, that might be one thing. But it's not totally clear to me where this would go and what would be the impression given of sort of the schools. I think when people drive on the property and they see banners up that have done sponsorships and endorsements, that's sort of an understood thing. But this is sort of a new, like this could be widely distributed anywhere and has our logo on it, and I don't really have any context for that. There's no sort of disclaimer language that this is not a product of Easton Public Schools. There's nothing that identifies that this was done as a way to support the schools. Like, it's just, our logo is just on it with nothing additional that I can see. So I guess that I do fear, I know nothing about the company, so there's no judgment on them whatsoever, but I do fear that it opens additional exposure for us. Without more information, I would be not in support of it.
I think Colleen has a question.
Sorry, we can't see her. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with Lauren. Just because, I mean, I definitely see the point of, you know, our logo when putting these things out, but I feel like when someone wants to bring a banner in, they have to, you know, come before us and we have to sort of vet the company. And then if we are in agreement that the company meets certain guidelines, we're willing to do it. I don't know how much different this would be. Like, I don't know where else this would go outside of Easton. I would be curious if this mortgage company is also attempting to do something similar in, you know, Sharon or Mansfield or Canton or other local communities where they sell houses or advertise. So I don't know. I think I tend to agree more with Lauren on this one.
I guess my thought is to go back is they can still create this calendar. So there's nothing, right? I mean, the information itself can still go out there.
100%.
And they could say
So-
Easton Public Schools, it's just the logo
Right.
that is the issue, right?
Correct.
From a legal standpoint, that's the issue, right?
Correct.
Yes, you could literally put a bold headline that said Easton Public School Calendar and have it below it and not use our logo, and I would feel significantly more comfortable.
Well, I also think it could be misconstrued as we are supporting this mortgage company over other companies that may be in the district or working in the district.
Right, there could be a parent that works at another mortgage company that is concerned about it. I agree. I feel like it looks like an endorsement without the additional context and without sort of framing around it.
Okay.
So without modifications or more information, I am not supportive of it. I would be open to more information to revisit the idea from my perspective. That doesn't have to be everyone else's perspective.
Okay.
So you could make a motion to accept it as is and see what the vote is. I would not.
Or should we wait, get more information?
Could it be brought back before us if we vote no on this today, make this decision, and they could bring it back to us, or maybe we.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Maybe we as a group talk about this type of process. Like, this might be interesting to us. We just don't really have a process around this type of
Right.
branding, I guess.
I think currently the legal process is to get our approval, and that's as far as we got, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so,
Colleen has another question.
oh, sure.
So rather than voting, could we just table it and ask them to send us more information before we vote yes or no? Because I'm hearing what you're saying. I could actually go either way. I don't know that I could vote one way or the other right now. Like I'm a maybe, a strong maybe, so.
I'm not against that, Colleen. My only thought is they may be wanting to print these, and the longer we wait to make a decision, they might just need to move forward before it's December and they're releasing these calendars that are halfway done.
That's fair.
What is the liaison process? So I know you brought this to us. How did they come to us in the first place?
This email, they reached out to Lynn and I, and we don't have the authority to allow something like that, so we bring it to you. If you have further questions, you can direct Lynn to ask specific questions of them, and she can report that back to you if you'd like, or you can approve it or not approve it. We don't have this is not an educational issue. We don't have a recommendation either way, so it's really your discretion.
When did you get the email?
On August 7th.
Okay.
Okay. Chairperson Jackie, what would you like to do?
I think we should, to Jim's point, I think we should vote on it now, and we can always go back to them and say, we can certainly reconsider this if we have whatever additional information people want to have.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve the donation of the magnet.
I don't
We don't
know
know if
that
it's
it's
a
a donation.
Oh,
And I don't know that it's a magnet. I should.
Oh,
Use of our
right, the
logo.
use
Yeah.
of the logo,
Right.
sorry.
It's okay.
Of the magnet.
That could be
We
one
don't
of your
know if it's
questions. Is it a donation?
I believe,
I don't-
yeah, right.
I
The
don't
letter
know.
doesn't
Okay.
say.
No, it doesn't.
I'll take a motion to approve Movement Mortgage to use the district's logo. Do I have a second? Can I second?
No.
No. You're trying to get it to a vote? Okay,
But if nobody seconds it, then that's the vote's over.
okay.
All righty. All right. So,
If you have questions that you want Lynn to get, you just would need to let her know what those are.
yeah, okay. So how about can we just all,
I guess to be clear, that was a no, but I think as a group, we're open to learning more
Yeah.
about this and potentially open to new ideas like using our logo in this way.
Are there things that we would like Lynn to ask that would allow us to reconsider? Does anyone have something that they would ask? So I have a question of how this would be distributed. So right now, I am a no because I don't understand how it would be distributed and what it even is. Like, is it a magnet? Is it a piece of paper? Is it a giant poster somewhere? I don't know. So I would love to understand where this would be used and how it would be distributed.
I'd like to understand the quantity. Is this giving them a blanket use of our logo? I mean,
That's Jim, that's a good point, because that was just what I was thinking too. If we say yes on this, then are they going to, can the company then use it for anything else that they want to?
Right.
and it might be worth trying to come up with a 1 or 2 page contract, legal document about the use of our logo before we go down this path of giving it out or letting people use it in some capacity.
Or it could be tied to our the policy we have on requiring, about other sponsorships, even though this isn't a sponsorship. Maybe we could tie it into that policy, something like that.
Or perhaps it ultimately is a sponsorship if what they're doing is a donation to students of a magnet, but we just don't understand enough to understand if it fits in that policy. So I think we would need a more detailed description of the quantity, the distribution process, what exactly it is it coming to students, and for what duration, like over what time period would this be distributed?
And is it limited just to this year, or does this mean that they can do this indefinitely?
Okay.
Is Colleen's hand up? Just checking.
Colleen, do you have a hand up?
No, she does not.
Okay. Okay. The next item is a vote to approve an anonymous donation. Dr. Cabral?
Thank you. So each year we have a small gift that represents the theme of the year for our staff to welcome them back to school. It's a nice morale addition to our opening day. This year, our theme of the year is to stay connected and stay charged. And actually, we had one on the table recently. The gift this year is a retractable multi-use charger with the district's logo on it. Now, it usually is around $2,000, $2,500. We have never used the operational budget for the purchase of this. We've used donations or grants for this in the past. And because of the tight budget this year, we were not going to be able to make use of any of those things. And so we were very delighted when an anonymous donor came forward and donated the $2,620.72 in order to purchase these for the staff. And so we wanted to acknowledge that this was paid for with a donation, private donation for this purpose only, and that we are thankful to the donor for that. And so if you would accept the donation with a vote, we can thank the anonymous donor.
May I ask, without splitting hairs, is if we voted no for whatever reason, would all the teachers have to give these chargers back?
Nope, we would have to pay for it in a different way.
Okay.
What was the amount again?
$2,620.72.
72 cents?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's very generous
Yes.
of our anonymous donor.
Yes.
So,
That is very generous, that someone understood the financial situation and still wished to ensure that the staff received acknowledgement. So I appreciate that, and obviously the donor was very sensitive and aware of the challenges we're facing, so I appreciate that as well. Very kind.
I'll take a motion to approve the generous donation of $2,620.72. Do I have a second?
Wiseman, so moved.
Percio, second.
Wiseman, yes.
Adler, yes.
Hamilton, yes.
Percio, yes.
Loomis, yes.
Thank you. Thank you to the donor.
Thank you, donor.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vote to approve a budget transfer. Dr. Cabral?
Okay. So the school committee policy is to present budget transfers when the transfer is moving from one DESI line item or code to another. And that is the case here with Richardson Olmsted. Because it's the first one this year, and for a couple of the members, I'll just explain it in a little more detail than typical, but if you have any questions, please let me know. So you can see that the account number is identified. This is for Richardson Olmsted. At the top is always a reason for the adjustment. These adjustments can be made by anybody that is in charge of a budget, so a department chair, a principal, a central office administrator, for example. In this case, Principal Getchell is moving $5,000 from a line of replacement of equipment and splitting it $2,500 to instructional supplies because he has additional teacher needs, and $2,500 for textbooks for our Just Words program. The it is possible that this is a permanent change and he wants to leave it that way. That would come about from just an analysis year to year. If he's finding that he typically underspends in the repairs line and he is needing to purchase consumables every year, it would make sense for him to make such a shift, so they are very common. In this case, you can see the bottom line is always going to be the same. They're just diverting funds from one line to another. Now, I just wanted to make a point of clarification also. I know this is before the finance director gets here, and I don't know if he's going to prefer this be a different policy, but we did not, I don't believe, with Director Starzyevsky have a certain dollar amount for this. It was just if it's a DESI line change. So this is a notification of lines that change in the budget because you vote on the DESI lines by regulation. You have to vote on the DESI lines. And so something like this, the materials, we authorize them to move forward and then spend the line materials pending your approval. And we just want to make sure that that is okay with you. If not, for example, we would have to wait perhaps a month before we could get teacher supplies because we need the approval to move it over. I just didn't know if there was a amount that you wanted prior approval for before we move ahead and purchase whatever it is that the principal or department chair needs, or if this process is fine with you. But this is what it's always going to look like. Or I shouldn't say that. We have a new director coming, and of course I want to leave it up to his discretion how it looks, but this is our current iteration of the budget transfer form.
I actually like being able to see these transfers because we don't get this all the time with just when we review our budget. I just think it's interesting for us to see what is being spent and how it's being allocated, and if there's a change, why there's a change. I think it's kind of a good learning curve
No,
for us.
we're always going to give you this. What I'm saying is if you want to approve this before we actually move the money and authorize the principal to spend it in the line that it's going to,
I see.
you'll always get this form if it's moved from one line item to the other. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Well, so let me ask you this. Are we supposed to vote on this? Because if we're supposed to vote on this, then it should come to us before it's approved and done, or it's kind of,
I don't think we would need to vote on it because we don't vote on individual line items.
Well, that's why I'm asking
on
if you had
We vote on
an
the
amount
bottom.
that you wanted to vote on before it was authorized, or if it's at the discretion of the person who's in charge of the budget, and then if you have concerns about something, then you don't allow them to do that. I'm not sure how you want to do that.
I guess the way it's trying to read it from the agenda, it seems like what is the process today? We approve this and then it happens, and then the change is allowed to be made.
Right.
Okay. I think we leave the process as is, and we can always have in a future meeting, have an agenda item to change the process if we wanted to, right?
yeah, I agree. I'd like to keep it as it is right now.
Yeah, I don't think the agenda item is the process.
Well, that's why I feel like,
Yeah,
are we conflating
yeah.
two things? Like, we have to vote on this specific thing now, and then future state, we can actually discuss changing the
Right, but
process.
what happens right now is the principal just overspends that line,
Okay.
and then we move the money over. So I just want to make sure, do you want to continue that, or do you want to approve it before it even gets moved?
Well, so what would be the point of us approving it after it's already done?
Because you're acknowledging that this is an acceptable move of the money.
Well, what if we said no? Then what happens?
Out of somewhere else.
It has to come out of somewhere else, exactly.
But the money's already been spent, so it's got to come out of somewhere.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Unless you say, no, you can't spend any money unless we approve it. And then you're probably going to need to have a lot more meetings.
Does this happen a lot that you're moving money between different codes?
Only things like this, like something that's in there for repairs. We're going to be leasing our copiers now, for example. So if a principal, well, she's not here anymore. Principal Kavanaugh has a speaker coming to her school. She might find that she doesn't have enough money in that line, but she doesn't have to repair copiers anymore. She may want to permanently move that over.
Well, I can also share that the increase in this particular case is because we are, as you know, at the end of our spending for our COVID grants. So we are seeing a little fluctuation right now with instructional supplies and making sure that the movement is, I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. Getchell keeps this transfer in that line because
Permanently.
we don't have the one-to-one devices anymore. We will, some of the, some of the subscriptions to the online purchases. So, the online subscriptions. So I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves it there because we are giving back to the schools the cost of the instructional supplies, where the COVID grants paid for a lot of it.
We can never change the bottom line of the budget. That's impossible. We can't do that. It's just a matter of where the money gets moved within the budget. Typically, it's within one line. So for example, a principal may plan to get agenda books, for example, and instead they decide to get notebooks, something like that. That would be instructional materials. It's in the same line. It's only when it's in a different DESI-coded line that we bring it to the school committee. You will always get this though, because we always want you to be aware from what you voted on, it's changing for this reason.
Colleen's hand is up.
Colleen?
Yeah, I think we should leave it alone because we're not moving the total amount of money spent. So we've already allocated it and approved it. And building principals and directors within their departments, they need to have some flexibility if they find that they are lacking in a certain area or they want to increase something else. I think we need to know about it, but I don't think us having to approve every single time they move a DESI line would be an efficient way to run the school district because it's going to really tie the hands of the school and slow things down. And as we know, school districts move really slowly anyways.
I agree with Colleen.
I think, yeah, I guess I feel like we table this process change conversation to, like, this is not the vote we're taking right now.
No,
So-
nope, I'm asking if you want to discuss process
Sure.
in a future meeting.
I'm open to it personally.
If we're keeping it the way it is, that's perfectly fine. But if you want to change it, we need to add it to a future meeting.
I would be in support of a future meeting after our new finance director has settled into place and any discussions that finance director has on recommendations and process changes. For now, I would say we leave as is. I think we should allow him
How
to
we're
settle
doing it
into
now works. for
How we're
us.
doing it now seems to work, and
Yeah.
I would love to have a more intentional discussion once he has settled into the role and has his own thoughts on process improvements, because I suspect he'll have other things he'll want to bring forward and discuss with us as well. So we
Could we tentatively, like, October, and maybe talk to the new director and see if he feels.
He
is
might
that
want a
enough
little
time?
more time.
Yeah.
Maybe November. But
Yeah, we're not in a rush
Yeah.
to change anything. This, like I said, operationally, this works for us. I just want to make sure it works for you.
So why don't we try to have it on an agenda in the next couple months before the end of the calendar year that we have this discussion?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for right now, we'll just vote on this, right?
Okay.
Correct.
So I'll take a motion to approve the budget transfer of $5,000 out of replacement of equipment and splitting it between instructional supplies and textbooks.
At RO.
At RO. Do I have a second?
Wiseman second. Wiseman, yes.
Proudler, yes.
Hamilton, yes.
Percio, yes.
Loomis, yes. Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is update on positions. Dr. Kerbo?
Sure. Our Director of Human Resources is here and can answer any questions for you, but what you have is a list of all of the positions that have been filled this year. None of them are additional, they're all replacements. Obviously, we didn't replace every position, but none of them are new positions, and you have a list of open positions because several of those are in the special education department. The Director of Student Services, Craig Davidson, is also here, so they can answer any questions you might have. I don't know if there were specific questions about positions or openings or anything like that.
I did have a question just to make sure I understood what I was looking at.
Sure.
So the second page of the information we received, which has the open positions, those positions remain open at the start of the school year, is that correct?
I want to make sure you have the most updated version because we were hiring literally as late as today.
I'm intrigued as to what we hired today. So we are hiring as late as today, and we are continuing to hire for these open positions.
Yes, and some of them actually have recommendations to hire.
Okay.
Yes. Right, so you can see, for example, certain positions say, there's a final interview on this date, or this offer has been made and we're waiting for them to answer, things like that. So they're technically open, but that's just some
Kelly,
additional
some of them are noted beside that a recommendation to hire has been submitted. We're literally scheduling them, and there are meetings tomorrow.
Okay.
So some of them will be starting Monday, hopefully.
Okay.
Most of them, I don't want to misspeak, but certainly Director Davidson, if you want to add anything, most of these have to do with some late changes, requests that staff have made to move to different places within the district or have movement outside of the district, or these are all things that have happened recently. Fortunately, we have had a great number of applicants. There are a couple of specialized positions where we are certainly not going to settle, and so we may repost, for example, if there's not a qualified candidate for a particular position. But
I think it's
in general, we've had a lot of applicants and haven't seen anything too unusual for this point in the year.
I think it's also important to note that there's a few positions on here where there were offers accepted and then the person backed out within the last 4 to 5 days.
Right.
So some of these jobs were taken off of school spring and then put back on in the last few days.
It's actually, we also don't have people's names on here for that exact reason. We have some people that actually never show up. That happens like one time a year sometimes, or they get an offer somewhere else and they leverage that with our offer. So that does happen, and so we don't put their names on typically until everybody's been hired and we're securely into the school year, and then of course that's all public information.
Colleen?
What is a special ed scheduler?
So we have 3 special ed schedulers throughout the district. They are 19-hour employees. They schedule all IEP meetings, reconvene meetings, team meetings throughout the buildings. And so they work closely with our special education coordinators and our IEP teams, making sure all the schedules align. Teacher schedules, guidance counselor schedules, administrative schedules that need to be in any of those meetings. And so they schedule over 1,500 meetings for us a year.
That's really cool. Thank you.
I had a question on, is Jackie's hand up? I just want to make sure we can't see. It's so hard. A question on the open positions. So are any of them of legal concern to us because we don't have these positions filled and we're not meeting a requirement, say on an IEP or a special education requirement? And if so, how are we filling those positions right now?
Absolutely. So there are a few positions on here that have direct services with students with IEPs. So students with disabilities receive specific direct services from around 3 people on this list. Families have either received tonight or tomorrow morning a letter from my office on what the position is, how we're going to provide the services that are missed through some comp services. 2 of the positions we are contracting or hopefully contracting out in the meantime with agencies to fill. And then we have opened up a little bit more of a widespread search for some of these hard to fill positions. So we've worked with educational collaboratives in the area to see if there's people that can fill in and provide the services. Any services that we do owe will be tracked, communicated with the families, and then backfilled from staff that join our team. We also have worked with a couple agencies that can fill some of the positions now and make up any of those comp services that we owe.
Okay. Are there financial concerns about our ability to fund the use of those agencies? I mean, obviously we have to. Like, I understand that there is an obligation we have to meet those needs, but do we feel that we have sufficient room in the budget to do so, or is that going to have a financial implication for us? Do we know?
It's hard to say because we don't know how long some of these positions will be open for. We posted one of the hardest positions to fill in the state of Massachusetts this year, and we filled it this summer, teacher of the deaf. Most districts cannot fill it. We were very lucky to add Dr. McCarthy to our team. She's doing a wonderful job throughout. People are so interested that they've reached out to us to see if we can support some of their needs, and we're not there yet. For us internally right now, I don't have any concerns long-term financially with these positions. We have some creative thinking going on how we can fill them. If there was a position that's open long-term, there would be some consideration for how we can provide those services in a more strategic way, but we're not there yet. I don't believe any of these positions will impact the budget per se with the support that we're going to look for.
On a temporary basis, it's fine because when the person starts, they are prorated. So if we stop using an agency, while we're using the agency, we're not paying the position that was put in the budget.
Okay.
So right now long-term, an agency tends to be more expensive depending, but the more specialized positions, we want the more experienced people anyway, so it's probably closer. So the goal is for it to be a temporary fix to a problem. We'll continue to try to recruit people, work with colleges and universities. Sometimes at the end of a semester, there are graduates. So we have lots of sort of tools that we use to reach out to people, talk to other districts about sharing personnel if we have less than a full-time need, things like that. So that will continue to happen even if we have an agency temporarily fill a role.
And are there any classrooms that started without their teacher, so using a substitute teacher?
We have our BA skills program right now with a long-term sub in place.
Does anyone else have any questions? Jack, did you put your hand up?
No.
If I may, can I make a comment? It might be helpful if we could share these on the screen for the public, potentially watching at home or watching a recording of this. I don't know the logistics of, if it, like, information obviously that can be shared with the public, but I think people will have a lot of questions and it's just us talking about what the information we're looking at.
They can't see what we can see.
Right.
Yeah. Well, all of anything that's open is listed on our website right now.
Open positions are listed.
Yep.
I just mean,
Like the
it's
documents
in a
we see?
digestible format for humans out in the world.
Oh, I hope humans can read it. Otherwise, we're definitely not going to get candidates.
Well, I just mean the average citizen trying to
I think
figure
that's
out what's
it.
going on in the schools
I think it's
in the town.
it's a general valid point. It's really difficult to follow along at a meeting when you're not looking at the packet that we're looking at.
Right.
Like, this information would be helpful maybe to a parent. They may not know anyone or be able to qualify for the position, but here's where the schools are at the beginning of the school year with the positions that are open or what we filled over the summer to show what we're doing with what we have after the override.
So maybe at a future workshop or something, we can discuss how we can, because I think it's a really good point of just in general, not just this, but everything that we are looking at, no one else can see. I think it would be, be worthwhile for us to have a discussion about it and change that process.
Sure. Positions I know are posted in School Spring. They are also on our website.
Correct.
So people who are curious right now can go to our website. Thank you. But yes, I agree that we should consider how to share this information more broadly.
Yep.
At least to pull it up on the Zoom potentially.
Are you all, is that it on positions? Yep.
Unless
Ready to
there
move
are
on?
questions, sure.
Okay. No more questions? Okay. So our next is a discussion and possible vote on school committee meeting schedule. Jackie?
Thanks, Lauren. So I know at the last meeting, we were asked to vote on the substance of a contract, and we didn't actually have the physical contract in front of us. And I know committee members were uncomfortable with that. I also know that it's not always within administration's control about when we get the documents that we need to vote on, because there's always third parties involved. So I want to try to, in balancing the concerns of the school committee members and of the reality of how the operations are working, I'm just trying to think of ways to keep the operations moving forward, but also allowing school committee members to, if there's something we need to vote on, that they have all the information that we need. So, and sometimes, I'm just going to make up an example. So there's a contract we have to vote on at the school committee meeting. We don't have that contract, but it needs to be almost put into effect as soon as possible. And so we can't wait for another couple of weeks before we re-examine it. So there's a couple of different things I came up with, and I just want to get people's feelings if there's different ideas. We could either, if that happens and people are uncomfortable in voting on something that's not in front of us, we could at that meeting make another meeting for the following week so that we could take care of that item, but that school committee members will have an opportunity to review that item before they vote on it. The other thing we could do is just on the off weeks, just schedule remote meetings to take care of anything that we weren't able to take care of at the regularly scheduled meeting, and then if we don't need the meetings, we could cancel it. I don't know if people have different ideas of how to handle this, if we want to just leave it as is. What are you guys comfortable with? And if I haven't explained myself well enough, tell me that too.
I think you explained it very well. I love the way you're thinking about it. I think a few times this summer it came up, like with the one that I thought was a workshop on July 22nd that we ended up turning into a meeting because there was so much going on. I think it does create the ability for us to respond and have time to review and discuss, to be able to have more of those ad hoc meetings as needed. My personal gut reaction is that I love the idea of being able to have the additional remote meeting. Obviously, having the placeholder is helpful, but I fear that the placeholder will tempt us to put a lot of things, bless you, and we'll end up meeting all the time. And as much as I love you all, I do enjoy not necessarily meeting all the time. So my first reaction was, if there are items that we feel need to be addressed, then I would be very comfortable finding an ad hoc remote meeting time to address the things that we couldn't resolve in that meeting. But my question would be, is that a sort of self-centered view, in the sense that there are school business items that sometimes need to get addressed in between, and waiting for that committee meeting is challenging?
I hate that you said self-centered because.
Sorry, I'm sorry. That was my self-centered view, not necessarily anyone else's.
Because I think the opposite.
Okay.
And I think that we should have them on the calendar, knowing that we will cancel them, because there are situations that come up and we don't want to hold things up because we haven't scheduled it. And then we'd all need to get our schedules together and plan something. And I think it's just easier if we have something on the calendar, and if we're able to make it, if we make it, if not, then we have other commitments. So I am in favor of as much as, I obviously don't want to meet weekly, and I don't believe that we will, I think it's important that we have the placeholder on the calendar just in case. So
And we could also use
yes, I
them
think your
for our
point is better.
policy, when we're reviewing the policies, like if, instead of setting up a different policy meeting, we could, use those placeholders for that type of thing as well. But again, I understand your concern, because sometimes when it's there, it's very easy to say, we have a 5-hour meeting coming up, let's split it between 2 meetings. So,
And we might want to anyway,
Right.
quite frankly. I do enjoy sleep and eating dinner. It was more just I feel like there's always a lot to do, and could it become tempting to always wedge things in? So we start meeting every week, right? And then we end up with 2 hours or 3 hours every week, and then that's a lot.
We could try.
well, that's certainly not my intention. I don't want to meet weekly either.
We could try to use the placeholders through December up to the holiday breaks, and then reassess in January if it works or it doesn't work if we don't use them.
I was just looking at the calendar, and we currently only have one in November, and I immediately thought, why? I know we had a reason for doing that because of the schedules, but I feel like that's automatically not going to be enough, just based on how much has been going on. So I like that suggestion of at least trying it out for a while.
Well, because it's no school November.
Right. So no school committee November too.
Conferences,
Yes. Colleen, is she raising her hand?
Does Colleen ever hand raise?
she does not, but she's coming on.
I'm coming on. I'm back and forth. I mean, as much as I like the thought of a placeholder, because we do have some other things going on, the thought of having pretty much to place out every single Thursday from now until Christmas is just really difficult with other commitments that that I have professionally and personally. So, I mean, if that's what the will of the committee is, then I will definitely go along with it. I know we're going to cancel a lot of them. It just seems a little daunting to have that scheduled for every week. And to Kelly's point, there is definitely a little concern that because there are so much going on, that we'll wind up meeting for 2 or 3 hours every week outside of school committee.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be on Thursdays, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the same weekday, week to week. So we could schedule them out, as Jim said, a couple of months in advance, and then see how it works. And if it doesn't, if it seems to be that we're using them for extra meetings that we don't really need, we can reassess. It's just, it's with the 7 of us, with everyone's schedules, it's tricky to kind of find a time. And when we have to table something that's on a meeting that really needs to be voted on quickly, it's almost, to have to go back home and take a couple of days to figure it out. And then we have the 48-hour window that we have to post. It's just, it makes it harder to find that time within the time frame that the administration may need to get a certain item voted on.
That's fair.
I agree, Ellis. Try it. I would support trying it for a while and booking those out. And even just looking at it, we have we have the September 30th date already booked. And I think if we do them as virtual sessions and use them for what's critically needed, then that's the framework we would operate under. We would cancel in that concept then. When would we make the cancellation determination? Is it the 48 hours in advance? How early would we know if we need it or not, I guess?
I would say.
Well, my guess, I don't know, but my guess would be if we have a Thursday night meeting and there's something that we need to address, but we don't have enough information, we would know that we needed that meeting the next week. If at that Thursday night meeting there was nothing, or we don't need it for reviewing policies that we knew about for the next week, I'm sorry about my voice, then we would cancel it at that time.
So I guess my question to Dr. Cabral and team is, does that work? Or what I was trying to say on my selfish comment is, it's not just about us, right? It's about the things that we want to kick to the next one. So in that, guys, to your point, Jackie, we know, but it's also about the things that you need us to respond on. So I didn't want to take the self-serving lens of what do we need to cover, and we only have that meeting if we know something got moved. But are there things that come up that you need those sessions for?
Okay, so you is the,
So school
So-
committee, sorry, let me say that better and differently.
No, I
It's been
think
a
I
long week.
understand what you asked.
Is, my comment was, the school committee, like the example that Jackie gave,
Yeah.
we had a discussion on an item, we didn't have the full contract, we didn't feel comfortable finalizing our vote, we needed to move it, so we, in this case, would move it to the next, to the virtual session. Or we have a large number of policies that we know we need to get through, so we would place that on the virtual session. In that prospect, to Jackie's example, we would be able to make that determination at one of these school committee meetings on whether or not we needed the remote meeting the week later. Now my question to you all is, are there things that you are really struggling to hold till our next session? And is us canceling it a full week in advance too much time because you might have things come up? Or would you know by a school committee meeting that you might have things coming up?
so it's a combination of things that has sort of gotten to this point, right? One is, it's typically not something that we are doing as a district. It's typically, to Jackie's point, a third party. An attorney wants to review something. Typically, it's the attorney, if I'm just gonna be clear. I'm trying to think of something.
We're very thorough.
It's typically, it's typically an attorney issue. And so for example, the solar item that you were discussing, an executive order came out unexpectedly, that completely changed how green initiatives are done, and it was canceling the program that we were doing. In order to still participate in the program and get the solar arrays on Blanche Ames, we needed to have that contract approved. The attorneys needed to get whatever it is. I'm making this up because it's different every time. Maybe the company hasn't provided their tax documentation yet, or whatever piece of the contract is there. So what we've done in the past is pass the contract pending final legal review that all the items that are supposed to be addendums are in there. So is it possible if it's, like in that particular situation, our meeting I think was August 14th, if I'm remembering correctly, and the executive order was ending on August 15th. And we found out about it however many days before. But the other thing is that the school committee wants the materials the Friday before the Thursday. We didn't even have the contract then from the attorney. So some things like that just happen, and we can't, we just, if it's something we think is really important, like a cost-saving measure, like putting the solar arrays on the roof, we're gonna try to put it through. In that case, it would have been too late. In another case, it might not be too late. It's usually things outside of our control because legal hasn't gotten something back. The contracts that we vet with legal usually go through like 3 or 4 iterations because and when I say legal, I mean the town's legal counsel. All of our contracts go through town's legal counsel. And so it's very often that a company will not attach an addenda item, for example, or they send the contract back with a red line saying, we don't want to do this indemnification for this much. And then our attorney looks at it and decides, okay, that's an acceptable amount, or no, we need to have the indemnification language, something like that. If you want that the Friday before, it could very well be, we don't have that information by then. So typically, is it okay on a Thursday that you have a meeting that's remote on a Monday? It's possible. It is possible. But whenever we've tried to schedule a meeting in 48 hours, we almost never are able to.
Yep.
I don't think we've ever tried to schedule a meeting in 48 hours that actually happened in 48 hours. So I think that's why your suggestion is to have one sort of on the books. The goal is that it never happens, but when you're dealing with contracts between businesses and the attorneys, and we don't really have any input on it, we're really at their mercy, I guess. So I guess the question would be, if you believe as a committee, if something comes up on a Thursday that you need more information, and you're able to have a meeting right on that Monday, that might not be a problem. But that's kind of a big commitment on your part too, and we understand that. So it's really up to you if you'd rather have them on the books so that you can make a mental note of it, or if you'd rather just try to book a meeting with a quorum as quickly as possible. It's really totally up to you.
Okay.
I say we take Jim's suggestion by putting it on the calendar until December and reassess. I think that,
And this would, sorry to interrupt you. This would be, we're not putting it on every following Monday, right? We didn't decide a day, or was it every Thursday, Jackie, you said?
we didn't.
Yeah, it doesn't, I know everyone has subcommittee meetings and they don't meet weekly, they may meet, monthly. So it doesn't have to be the same day every week. It can just, if we do it in smaller chunks, like you suggested,
Right.
then we look at our calendars and we can pick what day of that next week works for everyone. And then it could be different days on different weeks. It's really just to fill a gap in case we need to take care of something.
Yeah.
And
The goal
And
is
I
to
think-
never use it.
And I think we're all getting daunted by the fact that it's another meeting, but in reality, it probably will be 10, 15, 20 minutes of jumping on a Zoom call and like,
Yeah.
I think we can all dedicate ourselves that amount of time.
And the other thing to consider too is we just need a quorum.
Right.
So if there's a week that's particularly difficult, you're traveling, there's just no way you can squeeze in another meeting, that's okay, because there's 3 or 4 others of us to do it. So that, I think, gives you a little more flexibility as well.
Yep.
Yep.
I support scheduling them out through the end of December, or end of January if we need that time sample. I'm just looking at the dates, like there's a long gap at one point in January. So whatever we recommend, but scheduling them out for a shortened period of time, trying it out and see how it goes, and using them as we need to. There is, I think you made a great point, Dr. Wall, there are a lot of new pieces of information that come out from executive order and state and other things that we have to react to as well. So this may be a year where we have to be responsive, unfortunately.
We might just need a agenda item on every agenda to remind us to cancel or vote to cancel.
I like that.
The next
A vote
meeting
to
if we-
hold or cancel.
If we don't need that
Yeah.
new meeting.
Great point.
Okay. So I'll make a motion
Do you need a
to,
motion?
well, it's a,
So we don't have to, I don't think we have to vote on it right now because we don't have any specific dates.
Okay.
And actually, I don't think we need to vote on the dates at all because it's not our regular school committee's schedule. Because when we, add a committee meeting for whatever reason, a workshop, the policy, whatever, we're not voting on that date. We just
okay.
make sure that we're following all the open meeting law requirements for posting that meeting. Does that sound right, Dr. Cabral?
Sounds good to me.
Yes, I think so. It's only in an extraordinary situation.
So I guess what I can do is over the next few days, I can come up with options for the weeks going to the end of December and we can pick dates.
That would be
That's
great.
Great,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thank you for a creative solution to some challenges that have occurred over the past year with the meeting schedules and just timing of everything. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Schedule of payments. We've approved warrants 011S and 013S. Public comments. Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
State your name and address, please.
I'm questioning now what other name you would use.
What?
I want to know what other name you would use.
Huh?
You'll never know.
I know.
Amy Meehan, 133 Purchase Street. Thank you for your lengthy discussion about your schedule, because it actually is partially why I'm here this evening. and your conversations about doing remote meetings, I think is super important, because as indicated by the fact that 2 members are unable to be here in person, indicates others are also unable to participate in person. Your August 15th, 14th meeting, I participated in remotely. Had looked at the agenda in advance, and some important conversations came up through the course of the meeting, and particularly during public comment. But your meeting rules did not allow for participation remotely. So I just am asking potentially for the school committee to reconsider some of your meeting rules to allow for participation. I think it's super important. There are a lot of reasons that people can't come in person. There are definitely things that people want to participate in. And if you are engaging in some remote meetings moving forward, I think it's super important that people know those meetings are on the agenda. Possibly other things are going to come up that people did not anticipate being on the agenda that the community can be involved in. So that's the one ask I have of you. I do have a couple of other comments, though, from this meeting, because, again, being here is definitely more engaging, and I absolutely agree that in-person meetings are a preference. But we all know that life gets in the way. I do, as a result of this agenda, want to thank whoever the anonymous donor was, because the theme of the year and the appreciation for outreach to staff is appreciated. We always appreciate starting the year positively and appreciate that contribution. The last thing I just want to inquire about actually is going back to free and reduced lunch. While lunch and breakfast are free, I don't know that families have to or are compelled, or not sure really what information. I guess my thought is, from the perspective of my job, what communication is given to parents to file applications for free and reduced lunch, because while lunch may be free, there are other fees that parents may be eligible for. And are we communicating to parents? I know that on the parent tab, it's not easy access to that application. It's only through the food services. So it's just something that came up as a point to consider, because I'm not really sure where that's at. I don't know where in our registration process that step is. So just wanted to bring that to your attention as I was thinking as you were going through this.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank you. I did see it on Parent Square. As a parent, I saw it come through.
Okay.
So there was something, I can reassure you that I did see something come through on that.
Thank you.
Great point.
There's actually so, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to. You can go. Can I?
Yes.
Oh. I'm not supposed to typically respond, so I just ask for permission. So
I don't think I was either.
in the past, those applications went out to every student, and you probably remember we would encourage as many people to fill them out. We have something called direct certification now, and so we actually get that information from the state. We do still have applications because people's situations change, and so that has been pushed out through Parent Square from the Office of DEIA, and she pushes that continually out throughout the year.
I can respond. That's good to know. I think staffing-wise, we need to probably do, I was not aware of that. So as a person that registers students, that's good to know. So, thank you.
Sure. Anybody can fill one out.
No, I know.
Okay.
It's on the school end, I think, that I'm being mindful of.
Okay.
Of student fees and teachers saying, is this updated? So it's just, and I'm sorry, this is.
You can call me.
Format is probably
You can
really
call me anytime.
Honestly, I didn't really think about it
That's
until
okay.
this conversation, so I think it's worthy of conversation to make sure as a district, but I was thinking, as a parent, might be asking a question, presenting with fees, am I eligible, how is that taken care of? So, sorry, I know what that one is.
It was a great question.
It was a great question, and we did go sideways a little on, because Lauren was like, you're not supposed to respond. But I saw the thing come out, and I was like, oh gosh, that's for all the other things people forget about that are covered by acknowledging free and reduced lunch. So it's an important reminder for everyone. If you need the support, it's there.
If I can just remind families that each year they're supposed to go in and check their information, all of that, and that information is pushed out at that time as well, so that it is continuously pushed out to families regularly.
Any other public comment? Okay, superintendent note.
Thanks. As everybody knows, we had our opening this week, and it was really great. Every year, we're going to have bugs, whether it's in transportation or schedules or technology or what have you. So we appreciate everyone's patience and grace, especially with changes in roles and responsibilities. We are working things out one at a time. The kindergarten kiddos had their tour this morning, which is always adorable. It's particularly interesting when you go from Blanche Ames and seeing the kindergartners getting a tour to going over to the high school and sitting in a media class of seniors. It's really interesting to see that juxtaposition, and trying to get through all of the schools this week. We will continue doing that throughout the week. It's great to see everybody back and welcome them back. And I always share with people, it's just not normal for us to walk around schools all summer and not have it bustling with life. So for us, it's really great to have everybody back. And we welcome everybody in and are happy that they are here. Again, if anybody has questions about specific items, if it's technology, for example, the help desk, if it's about food service, there's an email for that. Checking out our email, we love feedback, not our email, our website. We love feedback on our website because we're constantly trying to update it and make it. Our goal is that everybody finds what they want within 3 clicks. So if somebody's online and they're not finding it within 3 clicks, we actually like to get that information. And whether that's calling central admin directly or just shooting a quick email to the help desk with the regular school suffix, or just going to the technology web page on our website. Our goal is to always try to figure out what is the best way for people to find things. Our school calendar is the perfect example. It's under multiple tabs. It's on a banner across the top. It's in like 10 different places because people look for different places. We still always get phone calls saying, your schedule's not on your website. So whatever is the way that a person would like to see it, we'll put it up there in multiple ways. So we just ask if people can let us know. And of course, if there's something that's particular to a school, reach out to the school. They want to know too. We want to make sure everybody's getting the appropriate information for their needs, especially if they're new to a district or new to a school. This year, they moved up. We want to know that stuff. And that's all I have right now.
I just want to echo Dr. Cabral's sentiment about opening of schools. Teachers have done such a phenomenal job with their classrooms. They really are just, it amazes me. You know, I'm entering year 28, I think, in education. And how classroom decorations and how they design classrooms have improved so much over the years. In fact, one classroom I was in, the teacher told me as I was oohing and eyeing over how she had the classroom set up, and she said that she actually used AI and typed it into AI and said, set up this grade classroom. These are the kind of qualities I'd like. And it presented that for her. So our teachers are, you know, it's great. And I know how hard they work and how thoughtful they are setting their classrooms up. So I just want to give them a shout out. And also I have to give a shout out to our front offices for all the phone calls that they've been receiving. Tracy Matthews in central office has been receiving endless phone calls, and she's done a great job, but our building secretaries have really been phenomenal fielding all of those calls and finding out information for parents. So thank you, welcome back, and I'm just excited for this great year that's coming up.
Thank you. Let's start with Colleen.
All right, so I just want to wish everybody in Easton an amazing school year, the teachers and the students alike. It's going to be a great year. And then I just have a quick update from the Human Rights Committee. We met on Tuesday night. And so we are still looking for 3 at-large members. So if there's anybody out in the audience who has an interest in the Human Rights Committee, please go ahead and check the Town of Easton website, and you can look at the application there. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me or to any of the other members. And then just a reminder that with our tricentennial, the Easton Block Party is happening this weekend. I think it's from 10 to 2. I'm sorry, I'm lying to you. 12 to 4. I think it's 12 to 4. Sorry about that. Check the website. Don't go with my words. But it should be a great time, and hopefully lots of folks from the community will be there to enjoy some more of our celebration.
Jackie?
Thank you. I just also want to welcome everyone back. Exciting for a new exciting year. I was able to attend the new staff member orientation breakfast, which was, you guys had a beautiful spread out there, and it was nice to see all the new friendly faces and maybe one or two faces that I recognized from past years coming back. So I hope everyone has just a great beginning of the school year. Thank you.
Kelly?
I want to echo the comments of welcoming everyone back. I unfortunately was not able to attend any of the kickoff events. That darn work priority thing gets in the way sometimes. But I am excited for the start of the year for everyone. I think there's an incredible amount of energy in the district in terms of how we move forward and making good progress. And despite the, some of the challenges with the override and those pieces, I just see everyone coming together and really working together to bring the best possible experience for the kiddos and for the staff. I think that's really important. I do want to say I had a really interesting experience on the first day. 2 of my kids came home and they said, hey, there's some new rules in our school and they want to talk about them. And I was like, okay. And so we talked about them, and both of them said, it might be because we're trying to do something for other kids. Like, we've got some new rules, but it might be in consideration of other kids. And both kids said to me, I'm going to wait and see, but I'm going to talk to the principal and ask more about it or share my thoughts. And I thought, well, what an amazing thing that they didn't come home and ask me to talk to anyone, but that they thought, I feel really comfortable talking to my principal. And so sure than anything this afternoon, the littlest one came home and I said, so how did school go today? And he said, Mom, I talked to Mr. C and you're right, it was for other kids and I just have to live with it. And I was like, okay, kiddo. But I thought it was so great that like his instant brain was, I'm just gonna talk to Mr. C and he'll explain it to me and it will be fine. And he did, and all is fine. So thank you to the principals. For creating an environment where my kiddos feel like they can go and talk and be heard and respected, but they can also be taught that some of these decisions are made to respect other kids too. So lots of parents I know are hearing about new things and learning about new things, but encourage your kids to talk themselves because they learn how to use their voice and have those experiences. That's it for me.
Jim?
Sure. Couple updates. I'd like to echo, welcome everyone back. Also, thank you to the teams who I'm sure spent most of the summer preparing for the buildings to open. Secondly, I'm very appreciative to have been invited to opening day. Thank you to Lauren for being willing to share the opening day speech from the school committee with me, even though I think I took the most of it. And then lastly, the budget, yes, and to Jackie for writing it. The budget subcommittee meeting, Jackie and I are the school committee representatives, September 8th, Monday at 4 p.m. As far as I know, at Town Hall, Jackie, but we'll figure it out when the agenda.
Yep, Colleen Corona boardroom.
Yep. And that is it for me.
So I want to echo what everyone else said. It's been so exciting. It was very exciting to see the positive energy from all of the staff at the opening day, and it's going to be a very exciting year. We're definitely going to have our challenges, so I invite anyone that has questions to ask before you get upset about things. Ask the reason why things are done the way they are. Your best bet is always to go to the school principal, the building principal, and then escalate from there when you have questions. But it's going to be a great year. My son started middle school, and he's having a great year so far. So day 2 was awesome. So day 3 through 180 is going to be equally as awesome. It was very wonderful in the middle school, because that's what I saw, for the 6th graders to come in for a open house and a tour of the school before school started, and all of the teachers were there, which was so amazing that it was before their contractual day to be there, and that was so appreciative, and that was great. I loved everybody's on Facebook, seeing all the first day of school holding signs, and it's like the best day of the year is the first day of school. It's new beginnings, and it's amazing. I'm excited for the kindergartners to start tomorrow. That will be a fun day. And that's it. I hope everyone has a great week, and yeah.
Next meeting, September 18th, 6 p.m.
You got it. Thank you.
Sure.
We will be here. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Hamilton.
What?
You have to be moved first.
Oh, Hamilton, so moved, Hamilton.
Okay.
Wiseman, second. Wiseman, yes.
Crowther, yes.
Hamilton, yes.
Percio, yes.
Loomis, yes.
And thank you to the policy committee who suggested doing policies, which I know our audience would love to hear, but they suggested doing policies as a separate session so that we could be a little more efficient and expedient in these sessions. Appreciate you.
Thank you, and good night.
Thank you. Thanks, Lauren. Have a good night. Bye.